Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Basili, your orthopedics faculty with Marrow, and today it gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Jaya Surya, who has secured rank 5 in this year's May 2025 INI-CET exam. Jaya Surya, congratulations, man. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and also tell us how you utilize Marrow in this journey of preparation so that students listening to you today will find some inspiration and use in their own journey.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for introducing me. My name is Jaya Surya. I'm from Hyderabad. I did my MBBS from Gandhi Medical College. I belong to the 2018 batch. This is
Awesome.
my first attempt. And to be honest, this is the first exam that I've written. And Marrow was the only resource that I used. I didn't use any other resource. Whatever, like the entire notes, QBank, GT, everything, I did it from Marrow itself. So I'm immensely
When
thankful
would you
to
say you
Marrow.
started your preparation for this exam, INI-CET exam?
Okay, so I was using Marrow. I say my first exposure to Marrow was in third year. That was when I took up the 2 year plan. I started watching the lectures, and just to make a sense of the subject, I used to like then I used it for around let's say 1.5 year. I used to supplement my college lectures with Marrow. After that, during my internship and like a few months after internship, I took a break because I wanted to go to the UK. But unfortunately, then that plan did not work out, so I had to switch back to India. This happened, I think, around 8 months ago, so September of last year. That was when I fully committed to INI-CET and NEET PG. So I once again took a Marrow plan, 2 year plan, and this time I properly prepared for Marrow. I used to watch. My main source of preparation were the main notes of Marrow. I used to read the main notes to reinforce the topic. I used to solve the relevant question bank modules. I was very regular with my grand tests. I used to write a grand test every 10 or 15 days. That this was a habit that I maintained very consistently. And because I had a time crunch, I wasn't able to cover all the videos again. But I only had a good base because I watched a couple of videos, a lot of videos during my third year and fourth year. It wasn't much of an issue.
So you had a good foundation in terms of
Yeah,
watching the videos in your third and fourth year, or you said second and third year, right? So you had that foundation. You were quite happy with that. It helped you to in your professional exams. You had the sound knowledge base that you needed. Specifically preparing for this exam because you did not have much time, you focused heavily on the notes and the areas that you could not understand or grasp from the notes. You went back to those videos and covered that information. And for everything else, you fell back on the question bank. Question bank added information to you, cleared a lot of doubts, and fixed every little loophole that was there in your knowledge information. So now that you have been preparing specifically since the last 8 months, what was your approach for the question bank? You would read the notes and go to the question bank. How many modules would you do, say, roughly per day?
I did. I don't think I had a fixed number. I would try to finish whatever I've read. I wanted to do the question bank, but some days it didn't happen. But my main approach was whatever I read that day, the notes, I used to test myself using the question bank. That was
Okay.
my. I used to do them simultaneously. I didn't follow an asynchronous approach. It was simultaneous. I did both of them together.
Right. So reading the notes gave you the knowledge, and solving the question bank gave you the application of that knowledge in terms of how they are asking these questions, how the questions are framed, what are the trick words that they
Yeah,
play with.
exactly. And
Well,
also to restrict myself in my second reading because the question bank, I feel the way it is designed is all the high yield questions are repeated more number of times. So I used to focus on those concepts during my revision. So I used the
absolutely.
question bank to condense my main notes as well.
Yeah, the whole purpose of the question bank is to nudge you in the direction where we want you to think in terms of the answer, in terms of the concept, and the facts that we want you to memorize, because all of this has been designed based on the previous history of the exams. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, Marrow Question Bank is ubiquitous, right? I mean, every student is preparing for these Indian exams definitely uses a Marrow Question Bank. I want to talk about the grant test, particularly the grant test that you said you were giving religiously every 10th day. How did you approach them? What was your grant test scores? And what about the mock exam? And how did you utilize those grant test analytics to focus on your weak areas and improve on subjects?
Okay. So the first grand test I ever gave was during my when I was started the first day of my preparation. I just want to assess myself, like without preparation, how much can I score? So I think I got 118 correct out of 200. That was my first GT score without any preparation. Then I decided that there's no point in giving GTs without preparing anything. I had my baseline. So I decided that my first GT is going to be the proper GT is going to be 6 months before the actual exam. So June 15th was the exam. So I wanted to give my first GT on December 15th. So, and by that time, I was able to finish, I'd say around 50% of the syllabus, close to 50 first read. So, my first GT, my first proper GT, I got, I think 136 correct and a rank of around 400, 400. Since then, every second week I was regular. I was giving GTs. Slowly, it started climbing. I was done with my first revision. Then my scores were between, let's say, 150 to 155. Then during my second, I mean, my first revision, they shot up from 155 to around 170. And I'd say the last 5, 6 exams, they've been hovering between 165 to 175.
So how would you say, I mean, the
And
ranks that you got in those GT exams and mock exam reflect the rank that you got today? I mean, what was your best rank in those mock and GT exams?
so I didn't give the NEET PG mark, I gave the INI mark. In the INI mark, I got a rank of 228. I got 166 questions correct. But that wasn't my best performance. I'd say my best performance was, I think, I got I got a rank of top 20. My top 20 was the best rank I ever got. But if you want a range, most consistently I used to get between 50 and 100.
1,500. So amazing, amazing. So you really must have done something towards the end that changed the outcome of your score and rank. Now, in terms of notes, like you said, now you bought the ready-made notes
Yeah.
and you had watched videos in your, third year and final year when you had time. So did you add information that you watched from the videos to the notes, or there was no need, or did you add information from the question bank? What was your strategy with notes?
No, sir, I wasn't adding anything in my notes. Notes was only for reading. I didn't really add any stuff from the I mean, videos to the notes. I didn't even add any stuff from the question bank to the notes. I felt like those two were separate tracks during revision. I used to
Uh-huh.
bookmark all the PYQ questions which I got wrong, and that is how I used to revise them. I wanted to like keep my notes separate. I mean, I
Okay.
wouldn't say this is ideal, but this is what I've been having. I don't like
Yeah, so
highlighting stuff.
you
I don't
kept
like writing
notes
stuff
for
in my
your
notes.
reading and understanding things, and if you found something difficult,
Yeah,
you reviewed it with the videos. But the
yeah,
preparation was mostly around the question bank with bookmarking the questions for easy review before the
yeah,
exam. What about custom modules,
yeah.
Jay? Did you use custom modules?
Not really, sir. Not a lot of custom. I'd say for I did under 5 custom modules. I didn't do a lot of custom
Okay.
modules.
Okay. In terms of question bank, did you manage to finish most of it?
I did 669 modules. I'd say around 80% of the question bank was done.
80% of the question bank was done. Now, what about the revision
And
videos, Delta
the most
MCQ dissection
important
with
thing was PYQs. Like I did all the PYQs twice before the INI-CET exam. Yeah.
PYQs definitely did. Right. And what about the revision videos and Delta MCQ discussion videos? Did you
No,
have
sir, I
chance to
didn't
go through
really
them?
have time to do that. No, sir, I didn't go
Okay.
through.
So you relied mostly on the question bank and reviewing the question bank and previous year questions. What about marathons?
Yes,
Did you participate in the marathons because it kind of gives you momentum to finish most of the question bank in limited amount of time?
I didn't do that as well. I didn't do that, sir.
Uh-huh. So I want to understand what was your approach with GT, because you said that you took GTs every 10th day and 15th day, right? Exactly. And so most of the knowledge that you were acquiring from the notes and the question bank, the reference point to test them or review them were from GT. So what was your strategy with
Yeah,
GT? Once you're done with your
exactly.
GT, how did you review them? How did you check how you made your mistakes, and how did you review the GTs?
Okay. So I'd say if you ask me the most important thing or the thing that I enjoyed the most or got the most high yield out of Marrow, it has to be the GT. What I used to do was those 3.5 hours, I used to forget the world. My only goal was to get every single question right. That I know,
Mhm.
obviously. So during those 3.5 hours, I used to be very focused. I used to write it like the main exam. Once that
Mhm.
was done, The earlier GTs, the main problem I had with reviewing was I was so burnt out after GT that I didn't want to read another page. So I didn't really review them on the day, on the same day itself. What I used to do was I used to review like 20 questions a day, 200 questions, right? So in 10 days, I could clear 200 questions. This is what I used to do. But towards the
So
end,
20
because my
questions every
mistakes
day.
were decreasing, yeah, 20 questions every day. And I used to properly do them. Like, even if I got it right, I used to see why. Did I guess it right? Or is there still some lacunae left or something like that? That was what I used to do. But towards the end, this became very cumbersome. I didn't have a lot of time I, to give 20 questions every day. So the day of giving GT, I used to review them. And this time I used to review only the questions that I got wrong. I didn't really focus on any other question.
Right.
This is what I
So, I
did
mean,
towards the end. So the last four,
yeah.
five
So,
GTs.
I would just like to summarize the information that you have given me because you have given me information, piecemeal parts here and there, and I was to just, consolidate here for viewers. So, you got Marrow for, good 2 to 3 years, and you started using it in your third year. You watched, a lot of content from the third year and final year when you were in your professional courses and exam. It helped you in your professional exam. You acquired the knowledge base, and you learned a lot from those videos. You were preparing for UK based exams, so your exam approach was slightly different, but the knowledge base, the whole MBBS level knowledge that you acquired was during your third and final year from MBBS Marrow videos. Now, when you were focused suddenly for the Indian exam, which was roughly around 8 months, which I feel is quite a lot of time to prepare for this exam. And then because you already had the foundation of the videos that you had acquired in the third and fourth year, you just relied heavily on the notes. And once you're done with the notes, you went to the question bank to solve the question. So essentially, if we remove the time gap from your preparation, that is the preparation for UK exams, we can safely say that you watched the videos, you did the notes, and then you did the question bank. So essentially, a typical preparation just divided throughout the journey, and then you focused heavily on the grand test, reviewing the grand test, assessing your performance based on the grand test, and then you improve the subjects that you are not getting good scores at by reviewing the notes once again. I mean, is this the strategy that you used across the years? Surya, am I audible?
So I think there's been a problem. Could you?
Right.
I
So I mean,
wasn't able to
I've
hear the
summarized, right?
last.
So it's okay. So I've summarized
Okay.
the strategy that you have used in third and fourth year. You watch the videos, learn from the teachers, and
Yeah.
then you utilize the notes to review the information. And then you gave a break for the UK exams. But once you have focused back on the Indian exams, you went back to the notes, reviewed the information, and appeared for the grand test while doing the question bank. So essentially, you've used the
Yeah.
videos, notes, question bank. I have given series of grand tests where you have gradually improved your score over time. So I think that is a standard strategy that almost all the toppers have used, who have been speaking to. They started early. Around second year, third year is a very good time to start your preparation. Watch the videos. Whether you like making notes or not is secondary. Learn the basics, the foundation from all the teachers that have taught you, which is not only helpful for your entrance exam but also your professional exams, and also acquiring general knowledge in terms of being a good doctor, learning from the best teachers in the country. And then, just before the exam, when you're focused for the exam, you focus more on the questions, practicing a lot of questions in the question bank, which helps you focus on the exam as well as review the information that you have learned. And towards the end, when you want to just focus on the strategies of giving the exam, you give a lot of grand test, mock exam, and assess where you're weak and improve over time. So I think that sums up the a common theme of the strategies that I have been hearing from almost all the toppers. There's really anything specific that you would want to add apart from all these things that I have told that you must have done that help you secure such an amazing rank?
Yeah, I would say that don't be in FOMO because I'm being absolutely honest. I've only used Marrow. I didn't really. The thing is, it's if you do one resource properly multiple times, that will give you a lot of yield compared to doing multiple resources haphazardly. I think that was a don't. I mean, be mentally strong. Don't see what others are doing. If something is working out for you, continue doing that. You don't have to change it in the last moment. And most importantly, be very regular with your GTs because I'm sure everybody has been saying the same thing, but they are really a game changer because you have an objective measure of your preparation. You know these are the subjects that you're weak in. You do those subjects, your
No,
score shoots. You
specifically,
get a
you
hit on.
said that during your preparation and your GTs, there was a
Yeah.
time where you hit a plateau. Anything that you did specifically to, improve your score once you hit that plateau?
Sir, I'd like to say that it's not a linear growth. It's never a linear growth. So what it did was Marrow. After a Marrow GT, you get the list of 5 subjects that you've done the worst in, right? I used to study those subjects over the next 10 to 15 days, and definitely my score used to go up by 2 3 questions. That used to work a lot. That is what I used to do whenever I hit plateaus.
Awesome. So whenever you hit a plateau in your scores, you went to your GT analytics, checked out the bottom two, three, or five
Yeah,
subjects, and focused on that for the next GT, and eventually overall your scores improve. That's a wonderful
yeah,
strategy, and it's a very simplistic strategy in expression, but to do it actually takes a lot of effort and time. Right. So it was so nice talking to you, Jay Surya. I mean, understanding where you started, what you did, took a break in the middle, and then eventually came back to this. And it's such an honor to have you here with us, sharing your journey, sharing your strategy. And I'm sure all the juniors watching you right now will have a lot to learn from this. So it doesn't matter. The key takeaways are to start early, watch the videos, make a good foundation, keep the notes handy, whether you write yourself or take ready-made note, does not matter. Go through the question bank, and if you start early, you will have enough time to go through the question bank. Give tests sincerely with a lot of discipline. Make sure you appear for these exams like an actual exam. Assess your GT analytics and see which subjects you're weak in, and focus on those subjects to gradually improve your scores. And you will shine just before the exam or at the exam. Don't worry too much about your scores throughout your journey. So it was so nice talking to you, Jayasuriya. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
thank you, sir. It was wonderful talking to you as well.
Bye bye.